One of the biggest days on the WWE calendar is coming our way. This is Riyadh in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and come Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, it will host Night of Champions. Kingdom Arena is where the King and Queen of the Ring will be crowned, and where the power structure of WWE could forever be altered.
The coronation draws near. For two worthy competitors, royalty awaits. The King and Queen will be crowned.
The King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, where legends have been made and careers have been built.
A grueling tournament where champions are forged in combat, where victory sets the path to greatness.
I am your queen.
And future Hall of Famers take their first step towards immortality.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
I'm royalty. It's true.
All hail King Booker!
The prize, a World Championship opportunity at SummerSlam. This Saturday, in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, the quest for glory will reach its conclusion in the King and Queen of the Ring finals, as two men and two women look to claim the throne at Night of Champions.
Oba Femi against Jey Uso, Liv Morgan against Io Sky.
Who will earn a World Championship opportunity? Who will seize their destiny and become the next King and Queen of the Ring?
Hi, everybody. So glad you're with us. We welcome you to the Night of Champions special. Joe Tessitore alongside Peter Rosenberg and the former WWE champion, Big E. Listen, this is wonderful because I always feel like there are seasons to the WWE calendar. We are now in SummerSlam season, and Night of Champions is as good of a premium live event as you will see. So let's dig right in. Peter, what makes Night of Champions so special?
To me, Night of Champions this year in particular, we have had such an incredible King and Queen of the Ring tournament, not without controversy on both the women's and the men's side. And tonight, we get our resolution of both.
And this kicks us forward to, Tess, you alluded to SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer. This is the last premium live event before SummerSlam. This sets the stage. Night of Champions sets the stage for SummerSlam.
Yeah, really, it's almost like a playoff that gets you into the championship, just like we have in football and basketball and baseball and everything else. This is how you get there, and here's what you need to know. It all begins at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN with the King and Queen of the Ring finals, and look who's starting us off. Oba Femi looks to continue his domination, of course, against Jey Uso. We will have Io Sky and Liv Morgan determining the Queen of the Ring finals. That starts us off. 3 championships are on the line at Night of Champions. Gunther, Sammy, Cody Rhodes in a triple threat for undisputed. Trick Williams defends the United States Championship against the newcomer Ricky Saints. Jade Cargill will take to the Women's United States Championship opportunity against Tiffany Stratton. And then, how exciting is it when the steel cage begins to lower? Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker take their Biddle rivalry inside the steel cage. That is happening on Night of Champions, an absolutely loaded full card. And want to remind everybody, it begins on ESPN. Now, the whole day is available on the ESPN app, but on ESPN at 1 p.m. Eastern, it is going to be Oba Femi right out of the gate in the King of the Ring finals against Jey Uso. Io and Liv also in that first hour on ESPN, but you can just go to the ESPN app and see everything all day long. Big E, what are you most excited to see at Night of Champions?
Look, I'm going to be stretching. I'm going to get my upper body loose because I'm going to be doing that Oba Femi strut.
Hey, you are built for that strut, E. You are built for that strut.
But Oba and Jey, look, the winner of this match, if they become world champion, we're potentially talking about the Bloodline having 2 world champions in the Bloodline, or Oba Femi potentially becoming the star that we all think he can be.
For me, I'm very excited about that match. To start off the show, unbelievable way to start your Saturday. But I'm thinking about this triple threat for the championship because Cody Rhodes has already had his hands full with Gunther. We know that. We saw that in Italy. Now enter Sami Zayn, who has been doing iconic, legacy-cementing work over the last several weeks. But as a result of Sami's involvement in this match, guys, there's a better than zero chance. There's a decent chance that Cody Rhodes leaves Saudi Arabia without the championship.
So this is what is going down after all the recent battles of Cody and Gunther, and now Sami, who was a guest referee and basically blew up all the plans. He's the great disruptor, and now he's in for the Undisputed Championship match, turning it into a triple threat. It comes your way Saturday at 1 p.m.
Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Night of Champions, myself, the WWE Champion, against Big G Gunther and Sami Zayn. Gunther has never defeated. The Night of Champions, it will be no different. Sami Zayn playing the victim when in actuality, Sami Zayn is just plain exhausted. And I no longer recognize him. The WWE Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, easy to find, hard to beat.
You know, it's interesting. We've all been covering what's been going on with Cody and Gunther, and then I'm sitting there covering SmackDown last week when Sami does what he does. I think that's the perfect description for Sami Zayn when it comes to his triple threat and the role he's played, Big E. Exhausting.
He is. And he's in this point of desperation. He's talked for the last couple years about wanting that cherry on the top of his career. He's never been a world champion. And look, you can talk about, traveling the globe, doing what we do for over a decade, for 20 years. But if you're never a world champion, you feel like something's lacking. And that's where Sami Zayn's really coming from. That's his perspective is. And I think the window is starting to close. This really might be the last opportunity for Sami Zayn to be a world champion.
It's a fair point. Sami is a veteran. And listen, I can't disagree with Cody's statement that Sami is exhausting on some level, but let me throw this at you. Is that part of the plan? I mean, Cody Rhodes is a guy who is exhausted in the sense that he does everything for us. He carries that Undisputed Championship with pride, Joe. He goes to ESPN. He goes everywhere there is to go. And Sami exhausting him, I believe, may be mentally a very intentional thing.
You know what I find fascinating? Gunther is somehow kind of getting lost in this conversation. One of the most dominant superstars we have seen over the last, 5-10 years or more. We've never seen anyone quite like Gunther, but yet so much of the conversation is not about Gunther at all. It's about Sami, it's about Cody, but I think that's credit to Sami finding ways, in many ways, to insert himself into this picture that maybe he didn't belong in.
And think about it like this. If he ends up just being this factor, this nuisance in the match, sure, maybe it's not Sami realizing the 20-year odyssey. Instead, it could be Gunther walking out with the championship.
It could be, and by having it as a triple threat, this really compromises Cody Rhodes. It makes the road so much more difficult for Cody to retain. We are off and running here on our Night of Champions special, still to come. Hey, there's nowhere to run inside that, the steel cage. But before Seth and Braun add to their history, we will take a step back and analyze it all. What are the top steel cage matches of all time? Plus, it was 30 years ago that one post-match interview changed sports entertainment forever. King of the Ring, 1996, Stone Cold Steve Austin. He, of course, delivered pure gold on that night at King of the Ring.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
3 decades later, we're celebrating the promo that created an icon and changed WWE history. And coming up, one of the final obstacles stands between Jey Uso and King of the Ring in that crown. The physically imposing, there's the strutty, you gotta do it, Obafemi. Can Jey complete the journey? Jackie Redmond goes one-on-one with Liv Morgan as well. It's all ahead on our Night of Champions special. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome, everyone, to the biggest event of the summer. We are getting carnage in SummerSlam. Here, when you talk to me, face. I am completely in shock right now. But I don't.
And of course, when it comes to SummerSlam, remember that the King and Queen of the Ring winners get title shots at SummerSlam. As for the King of the Ring, this is how we arrived at Obafemi against Jey Uso. Oba ran through the first round and then ragdolled Dirty Dom. Jey, a more adventurous route to get to King of the Ring final, including the fatal four-way taking advantage of a Samoan spike by Solo Sikoa against LA Knight, and then the semifinal win in a grueling match against the upstart Javon Evans.
Prestige, honor, respect, glory. The tournament where icons are born. A launching pad to undeniable greatness. Win the King's Crown. Punch your ticket to the top of WWE.
I will run through every single man in this King of the Ring tournament.
Behold the ruler!
I will take my rightful place upon the throne as your new King of the Ring. Your ruler needs a crown, doesn't he? Since I was born, I've been backed by destiny. One match away, and then the ruler will have his crown.
I'ma shock the world, Uso. That's what I do.
I need you to go win that King of the Ring. Go to SummerSlam and take the other one. There's 2 wins in the team.
I'ma Obafemi walk his ass right back to Nigeria, straight to SummerSlam. Check it out, Cody. When I see you, Uso, I will be the new undisputed WWE champion. 4 letters. Worldwide. King.
Who will be crowned King of the Ring?
Oba, Night of Champions. This your water shot. Bah!
When you shoot, don't miss. Because if you do, I will destroy you. And if you don't, I'll still destroy you.
Biggie, there is something about the way Obafemi delivers a message, even the way he refers to himself as the ruler. It just fits his physicality, his violence, his presence.
Absolutely, man. You talk about bigger, faster, stronger. That's Obafemi. I don't know if you remember that package that we ran around WrestleMania, but we sat down with Nick Saban, and he talked about Obafemi being at Alabama, trying to recruit him. I'm telling you, we're very fortunate to have Obafemi because there is a world in which this man is a defensive tackle in the NFL, wrecking shop right now.
Probably the best.
Right, honestly.
If he turned to football early in his life.
No, we had a conversation recently, me and E, about, you know, the NIL program and how WWE's been recruiting all these college athletes, sort of comparing that versus the old days of people going through the indies. If there's no program like that, we never get an Obafemi. We are so lucky to have him. You're talking about a guy who his name, and I really don't think I'm overstating this. It's thrown around with your future, you know, your Hulk Hogan's, your Rocks, your Stone Cold Steve Austin. This guy could be an all-time iconic star.
And that gets us to this point in terms of where he's positioned again on a PLE in this calendar year on ESPN, opening up the show again. This has been a rocket ride this year, E.
It absolutely has. And it's not just what he's done in the ring, but the way that fans have received him. Panning the crowd, seeing all the people doing the strut, the chants of Oba. It reminds me, I was a big Goldberg fan as a kid. It has that energy of Pete Goldberg. He is a phenomenon right now.
Hey, let's get into the matchup, though, because I don't want to dismiss Jey here. Stylistically, matchup, XO, what do we have here?
It's a really challenging spot for Jey Uso. Let's just be honest. Jey Uso's run through this tournament has been controversial on the internet. People keep waiting for Jey Uso to slip up, and he keeps battling and keeps battling. What I find fascinating is there's 2 fronts he's fighting on. One is the physical issue of Obafemi, who's as imposing a figure as you could see in all of WWE. But then there's also the fact that Jey Uso's used to everybody rooting for Jey Uso. no one seems to root against Obafemi these days. It's a really tough spot for Jey.
But mind you, let's not take anything away from Jey Uso. We're talking about one of the greatest tag team wrestlers of all time. We're talking about a former world champion. His resume is incredible. He's done everything you can as a tag team wrestler and has really made a name for himself in the singles as well. But the problem is, he's up against a Godzilla. King Kong.
Yes.
That's what Obafemi is right now.
And we're talking about a guy who just a year ago was a world heavyweight champion.
That's
in
right.
Jey Uso, and yet
And
that's
beat
how
Gunther, by the way.
and beat Gunther, and that's how we're framing him as an underdog. Now, don't forget that on Saturday at 11 a.m. we are going to have our countdown to Night of Champions, and Jey sat down with Jackie Redmond for an exclusive conversation, so you can hear him discuss the challenge ahead of what it would mean to be King of the Ring, to be able to defeat Obafemi. The full interview airs Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern on the Countdown Show right here on ESPN. Then there's the women's side, the Queen of the Ring. And this is a great matchup because in Io Sky you have arguably the most purely talented pro wrestler inside the ropes in terms of being a technician and skill against Liv Morgan. Trouble, could be double as a champion.
Well done.
Night of Champions, Queen of the Ring, Liv and Io. Jackie caught up with Liv Morgan.
Liv Morgan, what a year 2026 has been for you. You're a Royal Rumble winner. You defeat Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship. And now you're in the final of the Queen of the Ring tournament. You have accomplished quite literally more in the last 5 months than some people accomplished their entire career. How do you do it?
This is a lifetime of work that I put in. It's been 12 years in the making, and I'm finally able to reap the fruit of my labors. This was not an overnight success. This was me adjusting, adapting, changing, and making sure that I am better than every other woman in this locker room.
I want to ask you about the current Judgment Day. It's looked different over the years.
Yeah. The Judgment Day is a united front. We are a family. A success for one is a success for all in the Judgment Day.
Well, I think what the critics would say, you enter something like Queen of the Ring, you're already a champion, right?
Yeah.
And it's a tournament that Raquel and Roxanne were also in. Was it hard for you to sort of maybe have to face them? But were you worried about that?
No.
Were you happy that they kind
was
of,
I
you
happy
got
that
further than them?
No. Why would I be happy that I advanced and my girls, Roxanne and Raquel, didn't? Like I said, a win for one is a win for all. I would have loved to face Roxanne. I would have loved to face Raquel, but that's just not the way the hand was dealt.
Well, Liv, if you are successful and become Queen of the Ring in Riyadh,
when I become successful,
sure, I like
and when
the confidence.
Queen of the Ring in Riyadh.
Champs have to be confident. I get it. That potentially puts you face to face with someone that you have a ton of history with in Rhea Ripley. Was that at all a motivating factor for you to get into this tournament in the first place?
No. I'm not unaware of how great Rhea is. But the fact of the matter is, I've beaten Rhea at SummerSlam. I've taken her title, and I'm so excited to do it again. But why I did have to enter the Queen of the Ring tournament, Jackie, is because none of the girls on Raw wanted to challenge me. These girls are scared of me, but they're not dumb. So I had to actively seek out to be in this tournament so that I could prove to anyone that doubts me that I am the greatest, period.
One superstar that didn't seem afraid of you on Monday was Io Sky. In fact, she said, you know, just quoting her here, that the crown might not fit on your head.
Do you know what I think about that? I think that Io is scared of my confidence. I've faced Io before, and she's never been able to beat me one-on-one. And so I'm walking in to Queen of the Ring very confident. I'm not taking her lightly. Io is one of the greatest competitors that we have, but like I've said, she's never beaten me one-on-one, and that's not gonna start at Queen of the Ring.
Well, she mentions confidence. She mentions not taking Io Sky lightly, but Biggie, I will say this. That is as confident a world champion overall as you will hear from in Liv Morgan.
Confidence is sky high. And we actually had Liv on the desk with us when she saw the Queen of the Ring brackets be revealed for the first time. And a lot of the conversation then was, does it make sense to have a world champion in this tournament? But look at the stakes now. Potentially, if she can beat Io Sky and then go on to beat Rhea Ripley, you talk about legacy cementing, being a double world champion in WWE, that is something that sends you directly to the Hall of Fame.
I think it's been about Becky Lynch, 7 years ago was the last time we had a double-double women's champion.
Yeah, that would be legacy cementing, as you said, and Liv's run over the last couple of years. You have to give credit to it. She somehow finds a way to always be in the mix, to always seemingly have a title around her waist. But before we even jump into the ramifications for SummerSlam, just the Io of it all.
Yes.
It's funny, the last words from Liv in that interview, she saw it as an advantage. I think I may see it as a disadvantage. Liv said, Io Sky has never beaten me one-on-one in a one-on-one matchup. Tess, at a certain point, that's got to turn. Io Sky is too good. I wonder if almost the fact that she has never done it before makes it that much more likely that she has her number this time around.
You know, people hear this from us all the time when we talk about Io Sky, if she's so good, she's so talented. But explain to a mainstream audience the why we talk about Io Sky in this way in terms of skill set.
To me, it's not just the level of athleticism. It's the grit. She has a tenacity. She has a toughness that you see her. She's not the biggest woman on the roster, but the way she packs a punch, the way she is able, there's sometimes I think that's it. She'll take moves, and I think there's no way she's getting up. The way she's able to rebound, I think that's really what separates her, is she is someone who has she has so much fortitude. And I think she brings that to the ring every single night.
And just real quick, if she wins, the assumption would be that she just turns right around, points to Liv and said, great, now it's SummerSlam, I'm fighting for that?
Well, that would be the assumption, right? You'd think, hey, I was just able to beat this person.
Yes.
Let me beat her again. But who knows? What if she feels, that's a hill I've already climbed, I just did it. Oh, there's someone who's never beaten me one-on-one before.
No.
Named Rhea Ripley, who's holding a title.
Who happens to be my good friend.
Who happens to be my best pal. And then we get an absolute classic, and we'll find out.
We will find out. We got more to come on our Night of Champions special, including two of the WWE's biggest stars. The Women's U.S. Championship is at stake. Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, who will walk away with the U.S. Championship. And next, a rivalry between Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker that has reached its breaking point. So what do? You put it inside a steel cage. Bron cost Seth so much this past year. Seth just cost Bron tag team championships. Now they go inside the cage at Night of Champions. We'll break it all down next.
If you thought WWE stopped when the show ends, your mind is about to be blown. Club WWE, you'll gain access to premium content you can't see anywhere else. From behind-the-scenes moments to exclusive programming of your favorite superstars, Club WWE expands the horizon of the WWE universe.
This is abysmal!
An entire network of premium content just for you, only on Club WWE.
How does an event become an experience? This is how. This is why. This is WrestleMania. We know what it means to our country, but what could it mean to a kingdom? WrestleMania. For the first time ever, from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. A phenomenon so incredible, it would need to be experienced to be believed.
And a really hefty appetizer in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia comes your way Saturday before we get to the home of next year's WrestleMania. Night of Champions. We continue on with the special. It comes your way on ESPN 1 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, and it will include Bron Breakker and Seth Rollins in a steel cage.
Seth Rollins, you made an entire career undermining and backstabbing everyone. And you want to play the victim in this story. You are a sheep in wolf's clothing. I destroyed your vision because you use deception to prey on other people around you for the glory of one man.
Seth freaking Rollins is never going to be ready to have a vision of victory over Bron Breakker.
Breakker, I brought you into my vision. The moment has arrived for me to right my wrongs.
King of the Ring, first round fatal four-way. Seth Rollins is going to advance. The vision continues to haunt its creator.
I have to put an end to the vision.
This is for the World Tag Team titles. The Vision defending against the Street Profits. Rollins is here! Seth Rollins screws Bron Breakker out of the tag titles.
At Night of Champions, Bron Breakker, Seth Rollins, Steel Cage.
Sometimes the easiest way out of a situation is to run through it.
Night of Champions, you will be locked inside of a steel cage with the most vicious and unbreakable superstar in all of WWE. No Heyman, no vision, no hiding from who we are meant to be. In the end, the dog always makes it out.
Of course, Seth lost 6 months of his career after being injured by Bron last fall. And now, the willingness, the demand. There's only one way to do this, right? You have to go into the steel cage. These are the dimensions. These are the measurables for what takes place at Night of Champions, 1 p.m. Saturday, East Coast time in the United States on ESPN. And our own Big E, of course, has familiarity with it. Listen, you got to be a top-level elite guy to have even experienced the steel cage. And E, you did against KO back in December of 2021.
Look, I was fortunate to make it out of this match with my WWE title in hand. Kevin Owens, one of the toughest, grittiest competitors you will ever step foot in the ring with.
That was Big E and his victory in the steel cage match against Kevin Owens. Now, listen, all week long when we prepare for these PLEs, we dig in on every level of analysis. E, I thought this week when we were going through the matches, you had one of the smartest nuggets of analysis I've heard, specifically with Bron Breakker. We're so used to talking about him, his dynamic speed and athleticism, but what happens when you put him in a steel cage?
I think it can really limit so much of his ability. He needs movement. He needs room. We see him build up on the outside. We see that iconic run down the WrestleMania ramp. But that's the Bron Breakker we're used to, is this projectile missile. But he needs room. In that steel cage, he is confined. So you wonder if his biggest weapon is being taken away in that cage.
Even running the ropes at 23 miles per hour, even stuff like that. But that human missile, it neutralizes it a bit.
You don't have the same space behind you at the ropes at any point. It's a really great point. In some ways, it kind of evens the playing field for Bron and Seth.
We heard both of the competitors here talk about the intertwined, interwoven recent history between the two. Obviously, there's deep-rooted passion here. Who needs this more at this juncture of their career?
Okay, I feel strongly the answer is Seth Rollins. He's coming off of a loss at Backlash to Bron Breakker. He came on the post show after Backlash with us, and you could tell he is starting to look in the mirror a little bit. He knows things are not getting easier as you get older in this business. You're dealing with these young animals like Bron Breakker. He's also a guy who wants to be at the top. He wants to be dealing with title matches with Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes. He needs a win over Bron Breakker to move on from the vision and take, as he would have it, his rightful place at the top of the card.
And see, I disagree. I'm on the other side. I think Bron needs this more than anything. Seth has dealt with losses before. He knows how to rebound. We have put the stamp on Bron Breakker as this future world champion. He's going to be there before he turns 30. If he doesn't get over this hump, if he's not able to beat Seth Rollins and get on that track of vying for a world title, he really has to reset. I'm not sure it comes as quickly as we thought. So if Bron is going to fulfill that potential, he needs to beat Seth at Night of Champions.
And a reminder, at 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday morning, we are going to have the Night of Champions countdown show. And on that countdown show, you will see that Big E went where few can to work out with Bron Breakker. You may be the only guy that could stand up to Bron Breakker in a workout.
That's why he did it, so we can get that shot. He just wanted that shot in the show.
And in doing so, Big E, of course, landed an exclusive interview with Bron Breakker. So you will hear what Bron is thinking just before he goes into the steel cage on ESPN. That comes your way at 11 a.m. on the Countdown Show, 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. All right, a steel cage, you think about the great history of steel cage. So we put it to you. Top 10 steel cage matches of all time. Guys, take it away.
Well, listen, this is a tough list to even make. Let's go back to Saturday night's main event, 1989. One of the most athletic big men of all time. Boss Man and Hogan in the cage, of course, that memorable suplex from Hogan, the big spot there.
And look, man, I miss that old blue cage.
I know,
too,
I do
right?
love
It's so
the blue
iconic.
cage.
Next up, we have Lita and Victoria going back to 2003. And look, this was a time when the women weren't really getting these opportunities in these big spots, and boy, did they deliver. Victoria, not talked about enough as one of the best women from this era.
Number
Absolutely
8
right.
from 2008.
Yeah, well, these are guys who obviously just have a series of iconic matches, but this was a classic. Triple H, Randy, Judgment Day 2008. In the end, it's the pinfall victory for the King of Kings.
And for number 7, let's go to Extreme Rules 2014.
Man, I love this era of Bray Wyatt. The spooky kids singing to John Cena to distract as Bray is able to hit Sister Abigail and pick up the win. What a time.
Well, this would be my number 1. Just so everybody knows, this would be my number 1.
Were you there, Joe Test? This is right up your alley. Of course, Snuka and Morocco, MSG 1983. There are legends who became pro wrestlers because this match happened.
I absolutely love the CM Punk Jeff Hardy feud, what they did on SmackDown going back and forth. Man, this thing was athletic, it was physical, but the way these two fought, it had so much animosity. In the end, CM Punk is the victor.
Number 4, my guy, the best there is, was, and ever will be, Bret Hart and Diesel. One of the underrated rivalries of Bret's career. Undertaker through the ring, dragging Diesel down, and the Hitman walks out.
At number 3, we have Taker Batista, SmackDown 2007. Man, this era of Batista, one of the most jacked specimens you'll ever see, but it's The Undertaker. We had some controversy, too, with whose feet hit first at the end. Ultimately, it was Taker.
Now, this one, I tend to think there's too much recency bias. Not in this case. This is a recent absolute classic between the man Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus, Payback 2023. I was in the building and knew I had witnessed history. Number 2 on the list.
And last,
number 1.
But certainly not least, we got to go back to the greatest Royal Rumble. The way these two, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, the way they went back and forth time and time again. But to take suplex after suplex, F5 after F5, Roman had to use every ounce of grit, every ounce of toughness he had. And here we have the spear through the cage. What a match. What a match indeed.
That is the Blue Ribbon Panel's top 10 steel cage matches of all time. You know the complaint line is going to be lighting up anytime now. Still to come, Trick Williams, Ricky Saints, United States Championship on the line. We'll get into that. Plus, Jade Cargill, her chances to take down Tiffany Stratton for the Women's U.S. Championship. And 30 years ago, King of the Ring and the magical moment, those words spoken from Stone Cold Steve Austin. He delivered the promo. It changed WWE history. Don't go anywhere. More of Night of Champions special set to come your way. Memorable sports television isn't just about capturing the incredible moments. It's about recording the incredible phrases, the memorable calls, the classic quotes. Like what happened 30 years ago at King of the Ring, when Stone Cold's Austin 3:16 was so much more than just cutting a promo. It really started to change the industry. It ushered in a new era of sports entertainment. Michael Cole takes a look back.
The King of the Ring finals are at the famous Mecca Arena in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. On one side of the ring stood the legendary Jake the Snake Roberts, who in his recent return had taken to preaching the word to his flock.
My soul was purchased by the blood of the Lamb. So how can I lose if I just go out there and know the power above is reaching down and lifting me up?
On the other, a rough and tough blue-collar Texan by the name of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Get up, Jake!
Roberts never stood a chance.
Stone Cold Stunner. It's over. This may be only the beginning for that young man.
After a quick victory to become King of the Ring, Stone Cold stepped up to the podium and delivered a promo that would revolutionize an industry and change the trajectory of Austin's life forever.
Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just whipped your ass. I just kind of put that together in my head, and I didn't know what kind of moment that was. Next night we showed up, all of a sudden there's Austin 3:16 signs, and we realized there might be something here.
Next thing you know, there's an Austin 3:16 t-shirt. Immediately, they're selling out everywhere.
Many say this moment is what ushered in the Attitude Era. An era that saw WWE reclaim its greatness and annihilate WCW before eventually purchasing it just 5 years later. Austin 3:16 would go on to become one of, if not the most, iconic catchphrases in wrestling history. It would be quoted by athletes and celebrities around the globe.
Austin 3:16.
They don't compare it to the Stone Cold.
I don't want to intimidate you before WrestleMania, but check this out.
It was as if everyone on the planet was wearing that signature black t-shirt. There is nothing quite like hearing that glass break. Nothing more exciting and euphoric than to experience that sensation firsthand.
Austin, open a can of whoop ass!
WWE's forever indebted to the man who not only entertained us unimaginably, but saved an entire company as well, with the power of Austin 3:16.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Listen, we got to be careful anytime we speak in superlatives. We toss around the word greatest, greatest this, greatest that. How you measure greatest in the case of saying iconic catchphrase, really cutting a promo here at a moment of time. Is that the greatest in WWE history?
I mean, you could talk about, Dusty's Hard Times promo. We could talk about CM Punk's pipe bomb. But as far as lasting legacy, it's that. It's Austin's 3:16. The fact that those merch shirts, that they still have this impact 30 years later, the fact that we still so fondly think about that promo, it changed the game. And the impact it had on the Monday Night Wars as well, Rosenberg.
Absolutely. Like, it changed everything because they truly knew, WWE knew at that time, we have our guy. And so much of it, it's not just Austin 3:16. It's Blood of a Stone with Bret Hart. It's all these different moments. But for that to lead to what it led to has to make it the most iconic promo in WWE history. And real quick, let's give props to Jake the Snake Roberts, one of the greatest of all time. Him coming back at that random time in his life where he still wasn't fully on the right track, right? But he came in for a while, and they have this moment that ends up leading to history.
And here we are 30 years later with King and Queen of the Ring. And a reminder, it comes your way starting with coverage at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning East Coast time on ESPN from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And then the premium live event begins at 1 p.m. on ESPN. Now, the whole day is on the ESPN app, but on ESPN, that first hour, you will get King and Queen of the Ring. And that day, you will get this: the Women's United States Championship, as Tiffany Stratton looks to defend against Jade Cargill. Big E, what is your read here?
Look, I think so much of the onus is on Tiffany. I think she had this meteoric rise a year ago, but after dropping the title to Jade Cargill, this last, 2026 has been a little up and down for Tiffany, and I think she really has a lot of momentum that she needs to keep going. So I think this is going to be a really big night for her.
I sort of see it as the exact opposite. I'm thinking about what's on the line for Jade Cargill, who loses her title on the biggest stage to Rhea Ripley. Now, on the flip side of that, Jade's had a fantastic year. She alluded to this. She really has been great in the ring. We've seen her improvement time and time again. She's more than just an incredible physical specimen at this point. But Tess, in order for her to be where she believes she should be in WWE, she cannot lose to Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, and that's why so much will be determined with this matchup come Saturday, again, on the ESPN app, 1 p.m. start time in the United States on the East Coast for Night of Champions. Now, coming up next, the two men who will determine the United States Championship. Trick Williams has been holding on to gold. Ricky Saints is the brash, bold newcomer, the Crescent City Charmer, looking to land his first main roster title. We will break it all down after this short break. Let's give you the quick and easy roadmap for your Saturday for Night of Champions from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It gets underway at 11 a.m. Eastern U.S. time, right on ESPN. Now listen, you can go to the ESPN app. We encourage you to do that and just stay there all day long. 1 o'clock Eastern is the Night of Champions, and then the post-show follows that up. Now, on Night of Champions, we will have the U.S. Championship match. 1-800-WHOOP-THAT. Trick Willie, Tricky 2 times, Tricky Long Train. Ricky Saints defeated Carmelo Hayes in a grueling match to earn the title shot. It gets decided on Saturday.
Reporting to you live, the sexiest and most entertaining superstar alive, Trick Williams has finally arrived. Let's talk about it.
Look who's here now. We are joined by WWE superstar Trick Williams.
Mr. Lemon Pepper Steppers himself. We got the one and only Trick Williams in the building.
Let's talk about it.
I'm an entertainer. I can talk trash with my eyes closed. I'm like Stephen A. on the mic, man. You know what I mean? I can't wait to just open my mouth and say what I need to say.
I'm 6'5", 8 ass, 3 chains. Put my 2 lemon pepper steppers on. I'm what happens when you get Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson at the same place and at the same time. Representing the University of South Carolina.
He was a 2-time letterman at the University of South Carolina. Walked onto the team.
So on behalf of the South Carolina House of Representatives, our South Carolina ambassador,
accompanied by Grammy Award nominee and multi-platinum and diamond artist Lil Yachty.
The anointed one, Mr. Lemon Pepper Stepper.
we was just in the studio last night putting down some tracks.
Me and Lil Yachty go way back like white walls on the Cadillac. This is Trick Yachty game. Trick Williams is a star. I mean, you hear the people, they love Trick Williams all around the world.
The man who has taken WWE by storm.
Got the industry excited in ways I've not seen in a long time. Just put Trick Williams under the spotlight and it will work.
I figured I could add a little flavor to the menu. I look like money. I feel like money because Trick Williams is money. Let's talk about it.
All right, let's have grown folks talking about this U.S. Championship here. Listen, Ricky Saints has come in. He has talked a lot. He has gone after it right away on the main roster. From Ricky Saints' side of things, how do you see this?
No, Ricky's been in this business for a long time, a bit of a journeyman, but to finally get here, his first main roster PLE, to be in a match with Trick Williams, there is a lot of pressure on Ricky, not only to win the match, but to have a great performance. So I'm really eyeing Ricky to see what he does. You know, he's battled back and forth with Carmelo Hayes, had some really great matches on SmackDown, but now here's the opportunity. All the talk, you say you want it, here it is. Here it is. What will you do?
Well, let's not forget, Ricky Saints, that's a former NXT champion. This is a guy who knows what he's doing in the ring. But I watched that awesome feature on Trick, and it reminded me of how important this is. Because so far, everything has been money for Trick Williams. He has done everything he's wanted to do since he came up from NXT. And to keep that momentum going, Listen, he got married last weekend to the beautiful, the incredible, the talented Lash legend.
Does that impact this match, though? He's down in Jamaica. They're enjoying themselves. He's living a life. Now he's got to do this?
You tell me, you're a married man. The week of your wedding, you got to turn around. You're the biggest moment of your life. And now, 6 days later, 7 days later, now you're stepping into a huge match against Ricky Sainz.
You're flying to the other side of the world to do it.
Right. But I think he thrives on that. I really do.
Let's show everybody the full card. Of course, the U.S. Championship matches are on the Night of Champions. Big E, when Night of Champions is over, what is the name that we're going to be talking about? Which name?
We're not just going to be saying that name. We're going to be chanting that name. And that name is Oba.
Oba. Hard not to.
He opens up King of the Ring live on ESPN. Remember, the winner of King and Queen of the Ring, they earn title shots at SummerSlam. Peter, I turn to you. When we are on the post show, after Night of Champions, the name we will be discussing most is?
Samuel Bartholomew Zayn IV.
Oh my. Do you think Sami Zayn's about to become the undisputed champion?
Well, here's the thing. I think that whether we're talking about him as champion or whether I think we're just talking about the factor that he was in the match, I think by hook or by crook, he ends up being the guy that we're talking about.
Listen, that was our lead story when we started this Night of Champions special, is what we have with the triple threat, the undisputed championship, as Sami Zayn has been the great disruptor. Big E, he's coming to the mix between Gunther and Cody. Again, what role do you expect Sami Zayn to play in that championship match?
I think one of the interesting things with this match, with the triple threat, is he doesn't need to go toe-to-toe. He doesn't need to be the strongest or the most impressive. He just needs to find his openings, and that's what Sami Zayn is so good at doing. He is so crafty. He is so wily. His IQ, as a technician, he masters it. He gets it.
And beyond that, we've all had conversations with him at different times, interviews. Sami Zayn, the IQ period. He's such a smart guy. He knows how to take himself out of the match when he needs to. Let Gunther and Cody beat each other up. Can he take advantage of that?
Of course, that is one of our 3 championship matches. That's the big one. The undisputed WWE Championship comes your way in a triple threat. We also have the U.S. Championship between Trick Williams and Ricky Sainz. And we have the Women's United States Championship between Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. 3 championship matches on ESPN Saturday on Night of Champions. 3 matches. How many title changes will we have?
I think it's 1. I think we see Jade.
You think Jade Cargill is going to become a champion again on Saturday? All right, 3 title matches. How many title changes?
As someone who likes chaos, I'm being wishful. 2.
2.
Yes.
That will be a heck of a day we get on Saturday. Reminder, it all comes your way on ESPN, with coverage beginning at 11 a.m. Eastern U.S. time. From the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, it will be Night of Champions.